The sound was barely audible. A delicate gold wedding band hitting the glass counter. To Sarah, it sounded like her heart shattering. She looked at the man behind the counter, her hands trembling. "Please," she whispered. "It's 18-karat gold. It was my grandmother's. I just need $40 for antibiotics." Mr. Garris didn't even look her in the eye. He picked up the ring with 2 fingers, like it was trash. He laughed, a cruel, dry sound. "This is it? You wasted my time for this scrap metal?" Standing beside Sarah was her 10-year-old son, David. He clung to her coat, terrified. Mr. Garris opened the register. He pulled out a single, crumpled $20 bill. "20," he spat. "Take it, or get out." "But it's worth so much more," Sarah pleaded. Mr. Garris didn't argue. He balled up the money and threw it. It landed on the dirty, muddy floor. "You want the money?" he shouted. "Pick it up." Time seemed to freeze. David squeezed his mother's hand. "Mom, don't." But Sarah looked at her son, then at the money. Slowly, painfully. She bent her knees. Tears streamed down her face. She crawled on the dirty floor, just to save her life for a few more days. The walk home was silent. The rain washed away the tears, but it couldn't wash away the shame. They returned to a tiny apartment, peeling walls, empty cupboards. Sarah didn't want to sell that ring. It was the last connection she had to David's father. A good man, taken by an accident 3 years prior. She kept that ring through eviction. She kept it when the electricity was cut off. She kept it when she stopped eating so David could have lunch money. But the sickness in her lungs was faster than her paycheck. She had a choice, her dignity or her son's survival. That night, they shared a single bowl of noodles. Sarah stroked his hair, hiding the blood on her handkerchief. He was a bad man. "Mama," David said, his voice shaking with anger. "When I grow up, I'm going to make him pay." Sarah shook her head. "No, sweetie. Listen to me. Anger is a poison. It drinks your happiness. Promise me, you will be a good man, a builder, like your father, not a destroyer." David buried his face in her chest. "I promise." Sarah passed away 2 weeks later. David was left with nothing but that promise, and he kept it. He worked harder than anyone, sweeping floors, pouring concrete, managing crews. He built a life out of the dust, brick by brick. 10 years later. A sleek black car pulled up to that same curb. David was 30 now, tall, strong. He looked up at the old pawn shop sign. The boy who watched his mother crawl was back. She was doing all of this for her family. But she had no idea her sacrifice was about to be mocked. If you believe kindness should be rewarded, press the like button now. David stepped inside. The bell chimed, the same sharp sound that haunted his nightmares. The shop looked exactly the same. It smelled of stale smoke and desperation. Mr. Garris was still there, older, heavier, and just as cruel. He was yelling at an elderly woman. "Are you deaf? Grandma? Get this junk out of my face. $10 for the scrap weight. Take it, or get out." David watched from the back. His jaw tightened. Nothing had changed. The woman's hands shook as she reached for the bill. "I'll give you 200. David's voice cut through the air. Garris snapped his head up. "Hey, no soliciting in my store." David ignored him. He handed the woman 2 crisp $100 bills. She looked at him like an angel and hurried out. David walked slowly to the counter, his footsteps heavy. "You think you're a hero?" Garris sneered. "You just overpaid for trash." "I know the value of things," David replied. "Something you never learned." Garris laughed. "Listen, pal. I've been running this block for 30 years. You here to buy something? Or waste my oxygen?" "I'm here for a ring," David said. "A gold band, 18 karat. Sold to you 10 years ago for $20. Garris rolled his eyes. 10 years? You're delusional. I melt that stuff down. Gold has no memory." "This one does," David said. "It had an inscription. Forever S and J." A flicker of fear crossed Garris's face. His eyes darted to the locked display case behind him. David followed his gaze. There, sitting on a velvet cushion, priced at $2,500, was the simple gold band. "There it is," David said. Garris stood up quickly, blocking the view. "Hey, get away from there. That's a vintage piece. Rare. $2,000, firm. If you don't have the cash, hit the road." David stared at the ring. He saw his mother on her knees. "You paid $20 for it," David whispered. "You made a dying woman crawl on the floor for it." "Business is business," Garris shouted. "She needed the money. Now get out before I call the cops." Garris reached for the phone. David didn't flinch. He didn't move. "You don't need to call the police," David said calmly. "And you don't need to call the landlord about the leak in the ceiling either." Garris paused. "What are you talking about?" David reached into his pocket. He pulled out a legal document and placed it on the counter. "I bought the building this morning, Mr. Garris. In fact, I bought the whole block." The color drained from Garris's face. You're the investor? But you look like a construction worker." "I am a builder," David replied. "I built the company that now owns the roof over your head." Garris started sweating. His attitude flipped instantly. "Oh, sir, I had no idea. Listen, let me make it up to you." He scrambled for his keys, his hands shaking. He unlocked the case and grabbed the ring. "Here, take it. A gift for the new landlord. We can be partners, right?" Garris held the ring out. His hand was trembling, just like Sarah's hand 10 years ago. David took the ring. He held it up to the light. Small, scratched, perfect. "You made my mother pick $20 off the floor," David whispered. "You called her trash." "I was stressed," Garris pleaded. "I didn't know who she was." "She was everything," David said. He put the ring in his pocket. "I'm not renewing your lease. You have 30 days to vacate." "30 days?" Garris screamed. "I have nowhere to go. You can't do this." David simply turned away. Business is business. At that moment, he realized the truth. The regret on his face said everything. If this reveal shocked you, please subscribe to join our family for more stories like this. David walked out of the shop. The bell chimed one last time. The rain had stopped. Sunlight was breaking through the clouds. He didn't evict Garris out of spite. He did it because the neighborhood needed healing. 6 months later, the pawn shop was gone. In its place stood a clinic, the Sarah Foundation, a place where mothers didn't have to sell their wedding rings to get medicine, a place where no one was treated like trash. David kept his promise. He didn't destroy Garris with violence. He defeated him by building something better. As for Garris, he left town bankrupt and alone, carrying nothing but regret. He learned too late that the desperate woman you mock today might be the mother of the man who holds your fate tomorrow. David stood in the new clinic, touching the ring that now hung on a chain around his neck. I kept my promise. Mom, I built something good. He learned that money can buy a house, but it cannot buy a home. What would you have done if you were in his shoes? Tell us in the comments below.